Just type this in. What does Obama have to say about the Moors? I'm just showing you, things don't have to be direct. They can be indirect, but it's still, you can know, you know. Thank you. I'm good there.
Places like Uluzan that carried the light of learning through so many centuries, paving the way for Europe's Renaissance.
He's talking about the Renaissance. Now, historians know he's talking about the Moors.
Innovation in Muslim communities. There was innovation in Muslim communities that developed the order of algebra, our magnetic compass and tools of navigation, our mastery of pens and printing, our understanding of how disease spreads and how it can be healed. Islamic culture has given us majestic poetry and cherished music, endless poetry and places of peaceful contemplation. And throughout history, Islam has demonstrated through words and deeds the possibilities of religious tolerance and racial equality. I also know that Islam has always been a part of America's story. The first nation to recognize my country was Morocco. In signing the Treaty of Tripoli in 1796, our second president, John Adams, wrote, "The United States has in itself no character of enmity against the laws, religion, or tranquility of Muslims." And since our founding, American Muslims have enriched the United States.
Now, stop right
In
there.
our wars, they have served.
Now, immediately, most of our people don't even know the connection because they don't know that they're Moors. So he's telling them, and they don't know their history. They think he's talking some, he ain't a citizen, got no birth certificate thing. Do you And that's the bandwagon they'll jump on.
Yeah.
And he's telling them your history and go right to the Treaty of Peace and Friendship and the founding of the United States, of which they're a part, and they don't even recognize it because they don't know they're Moors. The president's even telling them. So what do you do with people like this? That's what they playing with King Alfred for them same people in the Second World War that kept claiming to be somebody that they're not, they're going to cook them. That's what King Alfred is. Because they're going to get rid of this nigger problem one way or another because it's destroying the planet. So what is Rex 84 and King Alfred plan? Based on the Second World War with some other people that claim to be somebody they're not, took up space, etc., become problematic, burden on society, they're expendable.
Hitler.
Well, go look up Executive Order 11490. It applies here for people called Negro, Black, and Colored, people that have no nationality. They want to be black, they're going to find themselves black. Now, the point, no, it's the truth. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust, because every man, woman, and child is obligated by law to honor their mothers and fathers, that their days may be longer upon the earth land. They don't want to honor their mothers and fathers, they're lawfully can be taken off the earth land. This is why the European steals our birthright. It's not, it's not secret. It's just that we're so put upon that we're scattered. And if you can get focus, they can start seeing it. But we're so scattered because we're put on from all angles. Because of their genocide policy. That we're so busy hollering victim, we fail to see where we are negating our responsibility in this thing. Doesn't mean that we're not being victimized, but we also have responsibility like other humans. Right. And we've negated that constitutional principle. Therefore, the rest of the civilized world has no debt to us in that area. Nobody got to make you honor your mothers and fathers if you don't want to. However, there's a consequence, and it's not good.
I don't think a lot of these people realize that this is their land. They keep thinking
because
that
they
they're coming
don't
from
know
Africa.
the
They keep
history.
thinking about these boats. They keep thinking they were slaves, and they continue to have the slave mentality. They don't want to take back their land because they don't realize that this is their land. They think they have to
That's
go
why
back
they
to
can't be
Africa.
deported. Now, I'm gonna give you something to read from the Charge d'Affaires. Now, keep in mind, you know about Horace Greeley? You know about Horace Greeley, good brother?
No, sir.
Huh?
No, sir.
You know about the Wigmore Party? Cotton wigs?
No.
Consigns wigs? No. Mummers Parade in Philadelphia?
Yeah.
Now, let's back up. Mummers Parade in Philadelphia, but you don't know about Horace Greeley.
No.
Don't know about the Wigmore. You see the problem? See the see the disconnect? Where our people don't know their own history, and yet it's in their face. The man goes through ritual, goes through a parade right in their face about their fall. But we got all these scholars, alleged scholars, all these marching reverends and 32-degree Masons with their tassels tied down, Moorish fez, and act like they don't know who the Moors are. And people believe them too, and defend them. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? I'll give you a little excerpt to read from Horace Greeley. Now, I just want to qualify, and hear this out, brother. Now, for brothers or scholars who are what's known as members of the Order of the Great Seal, there's people who they've been to the temples, Nation of Islam, other organizations, and they've grown up. When you get into your adeptus degree. Now, you see this right here? Well, let me show you this. I want you to see this for yourself. See that Copyright Office? Library of Congress? Library of Congress? See those certificate numbers? Well, this is what you call a mail sheet. And you send that, and then after this is delivered to us, then you're issued Clocks of Destiny 1 and 2 and some of your humanitarian lessons, which is registered in the Library of Congress. It means everybody knows this stuff. The only people who don't know this is people that only deal with beliefs. They're called Christian property, wards of the state, black people. They think it's an identity, their property. You understand? Now, let me give you from the Horace Greeley, and I want you to, as a matter of fact, I want you to read this. I want you to read this loud. And I ask this because women's energy is stronger when it comes to the care of family, the nature, because when women see their men, which is still their sons, being destroyed, they have more fire to defend us. And then you need to bring that balance. But since you're here, I want you to read this. Now, this is from the Charge d'Affaires. Now, I want you to read this. I want you to read this strongly. Now, this is a correspondence to the Secretary of State of the United States from the Charge d'Affaires, American Legion, Tangier, which you already know is part of the Moroccan Empire. Now, this is, as it is in the law books, excerpt. And what is that? Citizenship of the United States, expatriation, etc. And so the scholars can't dispute this. Pages 459 and 460. Now, United States expatriation. What is the name of that country right there?
Morocco.
So, the United States of America, Morocco, because that's the name of the country, that's the name of the corporation that's running the country under occupation. But yet most people would read right past that, wouldn't they? And wouldn't even recognize what Obama was saying, is they? Would they? Would they? Now, read this Charge d'Affaires, read it with me.
Mr. Philip.
Mr. Philip, Charge d'Affaires to Mr. Root, Secretary of State, August the 3rd, 1906. American Legion, Tangier, August the 3rd, 1906. Sir, there are strictly speaking no Moroccan laws relating to citizenship of Moorish subjects in Morocco. The fundamental laws of this non-Christian country are based entirely upon the Islamic code, no part of which treats of the subject of citizenship. There are, however, numerous treaties and conventions between the various Christian countries and the Moorish Empire. Isn't that what he's talking about? by means of which citizenship in this country is defined. But as I understand from the above acknowledged instructions that it is not the desire of the department to call for a report upon such lines, which means they don't want to really kind of make this thing public, but they're discussing it in this short treatise. I will therefore confine these remarks in general conditions existing which may possibly be of some use in connection with the information desired. Number one, citizenship in Morocco may be said to be governed by the laws pertaining to the same in other countries, which means it's a universal principle. With the exception that all persons residing in Morocco who cannot prove foreign citizenship or protection are considered ipso jure as Moorish subjects. That means they got to prove they ain't not Moorish. How many people know that that's the United States law? We ain't talking about nationality card. They got to prove that they ain't. And they don't even know that much because their so-called black leaders ain't telling them because they're sellouts. Now, 2 and 3, Moorish subjects lost their nationality only by becoming naturalized, not nationalized, naturalized in or protected by another country having treaty relations with the Moorish Empire. And now they want to act like they don't know about. So what Obama got to tell them about the Moorish Empire and the treaties. And they don't, most of our people went right over his damn heads and don't know that they're Moorish. And they got to prove that they ain't. All scholars know this. Now, do you understand why other people don't respect black people? It goes beyond what they think. They think it's complexion. They're considered traitors and sellouts and dangerous, not only to themselves, but all civilized society, because they're outside the constitutional fold of government, which is the first, the knowledge of yourself. And then always talking about they know Jesus, God, Allah, and Muhammad. And the world are laughing at us because we're hypocrites as well as self-destructive. And they want to blame the world. It ain't racist. Race is the human species. The human species is broken down into extended families called nations and nationalities. And if a child can understand that what them flags is on that parkway right in Philadelphia, an adult should. Without having to be convinced. But they still don't get it. So we have a problem, don't we? That's why we're talking. See the point? Now just take the position that others are here, particularly children. And their parents don't know it. What chance do these children have in society when the parent don't even know who they are? But they talking stuff and talking about how saved they are and Jesus, Allah, and Moses, Muhammad, like they spiritually developed. They're full of crap. And ain't nobody gonna sit around and keep arguing with us with things that are basic to human beings, which is the honor of their mothers and fathers. Chinese will never go around talking about these light-skinned yellow guy. Only these people here keep doing it. Yeah, light-skinned, orange-skinned, black girlfriend. What the hell? And then trying to make it real to the civilized world, and then when the world don't take us serious, we want to accuse them of racism, and they know that the race is the species. So they go along to BS, set up shop in our communities and get wealthy, because we give our birthright, because we don't even know we got one. And they even tell you how you lost it. Now you see why Drew Ali said in the Divine Warning that the 14th and 15th Amendment is not necessary for the salvation of my people and citizens. Why? That's the Naturalization Act. Knights of Columbus, Ku Klux Klan. And then you so-called blacks are listed as what? 14th Amendment citizens, which is corporations.
What they tried to do with our name is turn our name into a legal fiction, which is what a person means. If you look at the Black Law Dictionary, edition 7, a person represents a legal fiction and a corporation. In order for these corporations, such as the United States of America Corporation, check that out on Dunn and Bradstreet, in order for them to have joinder, basically, have joinder with you, you have to be a corporation, or your name has to be a corporation in order for them to do a contract with you or operate in commerce with you. Because a corporation cannot attack a human being, a living man or a living woman. You have to be in a contract, and which is what your parents did. They ended up signing you over to the state without knowing. Me too. I'm just as guilty, okay? So let me go ahead and read a little background here about what the birth certificate is that Yarrow brought up. It's really interesting. He got it from this article. So registration means enrollment. For example, students register to enroll in a school, which gives them certain rights and obligations. When it comes to the birth certificate, you're registering to enroll in the private federal democracy of the District of Columbia, aka the United States. You're registering to become a federal 14th Amendment U.S. citizen.
That's where you get your straw man that everybody talks about, the transmitting utility. And then people trying to find out what that is, and they want to do UCCs and think they're going to claim their state, and they don't even know their bloodline. See how corrupt that is?
I was going to ask, did Abraham Lincoln free the slaves? Black slaves?
Manumission is a transfer, not a freeing. It's transferred from the body politic to the Congress. That's where the 14th Amendment comes in. That's why Drawley said, if you don't do anything else, declare your nationality. And if you choose not to, you're going to find yourself in a situation that you really don't want to be in. Because you'll be subject to all kinds of abuses and mistreatments by the citizens. It's documented, it's undocumented. But the point of it is like this. And you know, just being, you know, we're just talking, we brothers, we family. But just take a position like, you know, we're just talking, you don't know nothing. You can't dispute this, because it's fact. But you also know that most of our people aren't aware of this because they're not told this, not showed this kind of information. Somebody usually trying to make them believe something. So see, if you pray 5 times and make it 6, then you get a peanut butter sandwich. And everybody goes around, walks around the poles, Francis Day, and get no peanut butter sandwich. Well, one of these days, and all lost time, you know, they keep on buying into this game, and these guys run around with $3,000 suits and a nice parish and a nice car. And, I mean, they be pulling scrap on our people all the time. They don't know nothing about birthright. And the world knows.
You was about to get into Horace Greeley and the Mama's Parade?
Well, the Mama's Parade is a celebration of the fall of the Moors. That's why they will always have a crescent and star displayed, or they used to do it until the good administration. And you're all young, so when you was little, you know, before they bomb move, here, before they bomb move, they did what is called a non-protonc. So let me show you the non-protonc. I think I have it in this. I think I have it in this one. I'm not sure if I, you know, maybe in this. I just happen to have this because we were doing. You know. Now, the non-protonc may be in here too because of. Nah, I just got the Rahm Emanuel. Now. This is Rahm Emanuel. You see that wedding signature? I mean, it's a copy, but it's a wedding signature. Do you know who Rahm Emanuel is? You ever heard the name? All right. He was of the administrator in the executive office of Obama, and he left in 2010, ran for mayor in Chicago, and won the seat. Now, do you remember Rahm Emanuel? All right. Now, Rahm Emanuel is a Jew, right? Now, when he got into office, one of the first things that he issued from his seat was this proclamation. Sis? All right. All right, you film her. This is giving me a break so I can. Now keep this in mind. Keep this in mind. We just took you to Obama, right? Now this is Rahm Emanuel, left his administration in 2010, right? And this is the first thing he issued off his desk. December the 22nd, 2011. What is the 22nd of December? What? Astrologically. First full day of the winter solstice, North Gate. Your culture. Go ahead, read, sis. Read loud. Go ahead.
Whereas the Moorish Americans and the descendants of the Moabites...
Back up again. Now remember, this is a Jew talking.
Whereas the Moorish Americans are the descendants of the ancient Moabites, the Hamites and Canaanites, who were permitted by the old pharaohs of Kemet to traverse from East Africa and later form themselves kingdoms extended from the northwestern and southwestern shores of Africa, the Atlantic Islands, and into present-day continental Americas.
Now stop right there. Didn't he just tell these people their history, that they're the indigenous people? Did he say Indians? Who are these people? They're Moorish Americans. Who's telling them this history? A Jew. What's up with these so-called black leaders? And he's doing it officially from the mayor's office. Keep on reading, sis.
Whereas the indigenous Moorish people of the Americas are now
Notice that he's telling them that they're indigenous, which means they didn't come from nowhere. Continue.
The indigenous Moorish peoples of the Americas are now united in order to again link themselves with the family of nations. And whereas the Moorish Americans, being aboriginal to the territories of North, Central, and South Americas, have formed a sovereign theocratic government, guided by the command principles of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Through
He's been telling the principles of the culture, isn't he? Is he hiding it? Continue.
And justice through the virtue of the universal right to self-determination, as well as the Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous People, guaranteed in the Charter. And whereas on January 8, 1886, Noble Drew Ali was born in the state of North Carolina, destined to become the first patriot of his mentally enslaved Moorish American people. In 1912, he was later anointed as El-Hajj Sharif Abdul Ali by the heads of the Egypt and holy city of Mecca to return to the United States as the last prophet and founding father of the newly risen nation of Moorish Americans. As a result of the 13th Amendment, Moorish American people were emancipated from slavery in 1865. Now, therefore I, Rahm Emanuel, Mayor of the City of Chicago, do hereby proclaim January 8th through the 15th, 2012 to be Moorish American Week in Chicago, and urge all presidents to recognize the events planned for this time.
Now, does that demonstrate to you that we ain't the only ones that know this?
Yeah. They're trying to wake us up.
Now, is he talking religion? And he's a Jew. Is he competing with Islam? Or is he just telling you your real history?
It's facts.
Telling you your estate? Telling you that you're not only indigenous, you're aboriginal, which means the first people. And then you got these so-called black scholars trying to debate this information. Do you see where our problem is? And scholars know that they're COINTELPROPers, but people who don't read don't know. They just, if it sounds good, yeah, man, he got a nice suit, man. he got Joseph T. What the Banks?
Joseph S. Banks.
That's Banks suit, yeah, man. He cool and he's spiritual, man. He's religious. He makes a lot, man. See, the point of it is that I'm making to you is even without a lot of deep research, there's enough surface information that shows who these people are, from people that are not directly part of your nation. Ooh. But yet you would have to argue with people to try to, like you're trying to convince them. So imagine the problem that other people have trying to deal with us. And then we always asking somebody, how come they want to help the black man? They're trying to help you stop claiming to be black. And we insist on trying to be somebody that we're not and suffering the consequences. Willingly stepping outside of the constitutional fold of government. Suffering the consequences, then we want to blame the world as if we're not responsible. Yeah, we've been victimized, but we're helping to victimize ourselves out of our ignorance.
And then they wonder why the Africans come here and don't respect us.
That's why they don't, because black people are considered traitors because you claiming to be black.
Right.
It's a brand. You're telling them that you're telling them you're a traitor. The problem is that we don't know that that's what we're saying. We be treating it like it's an identity, and it's a legal term. Status. We're dead in law.
Like civil rights.
Yes, that's why it's called civil liter mortuus. Law dictionary. Go ahead, sis. It's good. There, your law dictionary. Go ahead. Civil liber mortuus. Thank you, brother, for your assistance.
Oh, no problem.
I'm reading this from Black's Law Dictionary, 3rd edition. Civil liber mortuus means civilly dead, dead in the view of the law. The condition of one who has lost his civil rights and capacities and is accounted dead in law. Civil liber mortuus.
And that's a legal phrase that's applied to our people in the status that they're in. And they're not told. Why they're not told? Because they can't make no marching finances off them, playing on their emotions. And they be talking about civil rights, civil liberties, mostly not civil liberty, because they don't usually deal with that intelligence. They'll say civil rights under the 14th Amendment and don't even understand their status as civil liber mortuus.
Right. I feel like we all hear about Martin Luther King and the civil rights movement, but you hear about his
32-degree
assassination.
Mason, continue.
You hear about his assassination, but it was kind of almost like once they killed Martin Luther King in in the history that they taught us, the Civil War was over. When it never really was. We were still civilly dead and we still needed help. They just wrote it off as history and kept things going.
And what is now? So they've been doing what? They've been helping maintain this dead status while appearing as if they were really helping to uplift the people. But because the people can't read and don't know history and law, they don't understand the works of an overseer.
Right.
I mean, they're being robbed right in their face, and they're going, hallelujah to you, hell, he really said that.
Paying tithes.
So what difficulty does it put other civilized beings in who come to North America? They already know these people lost, you can't reason with them, but they generate a lot of finance. Just don't do positive things. If a moon rock fall from the sky, don't start talking about the scientific qualities, see if they can get high with it. And that's how they look at us. We're things, we're not looked at as human beings. And then we get mad because they don't regard us as human beings when we don't act like human beings. I mean, it's an oxymoron. Now, what I just said is true, however, most people take that sensitive. But if we're going to be honest and fix this thing, we got to be honest. Because we got to look out for these generations to come so they can live. Because we're going to try to kill them off. Because we become a burden in society. And don't know it.
I was just thinking that, they always want to keep us in a minority position, which means a childish or childlike position. Because even if you look at the word adult in Black's Law Dictionary, it still says something that's,
And you're talking about a competency thing
we
too.
want to be adults. No, we don't want to be adults. We want to be the majority. We want to be the major, putting away our childish ways, and we continually fall back into the childish ways.
And then you deal with the again with the status. See if you can pull up Hillary Clinton speaks from the Ben Franklin room. Click it and make it big on the screen.
The Asian majority.
What flags does she have behind her?
Events unfolding in the world.
That's the Benjamin Franklin. You got the American flag, which is the red flag with the 5-pointed green star, and the Star-Spangled Banner, which is the treaty flag that Obama is talking about. And people think it's the opposite. See where the problem of it is? Meaning that they can even show things to people and they still don't get it.
Escalation.
Now, remember, we're talking, but we didn't have to pull it. We can send you right on, which means this is available to the world.
The video circulating on the internet.
And people are debating the non-debatable. See the problem that we have?
Let me state very clearly.
And most people look at that, and if you expand that, you got 3 of Moish flags, which is the Moroccan flag,
Nothing to
behind her. And each one next to it, then you got the Stars and Stripes, which is a banner.
its content and message.
That's the national flag, that's the Star-Spangled Banner.
Religious tolerance.
Flag of the corporation that you saw right here in the Charge of Affairs, The United States, the country, Morocco. You see it?
We are
But yet it's there, and yet it's like you can show other people and they think, oh, you painted that on there.
this country.
And man, you did that, y'all did that, y'all did some graphics in the background.
Photoshop.
Yeah, Photoshop.
Do you understand what I'm saying? See, if people would just read and research, a lot of questions wouldn't even exist. You wouldn't have to tell them anything. But guess what, most of them, and you know it and I know it, they ain't hearing it. So also, as far as the world's concerned, it ain't like they've been, you know, like when you tell somebody and then they don't listen, then nobody's obligated to feel sorry for whatever happens to them.
Right, right.
Because they've been told, Drew, I've been telling them for the last 102 years. And they still want to be black, and they getting the black treatment. And you ask them, go on the parkway and stand under your national standard. They're going to stand on the Stars and Stripes. You understand the problem? And if you try, that's not your flag. This flag is, that's the devil. Because Rihanna does like this, and Jay-Z and them do like this. And they're sending you signals about your birthright. Do you understand? Hey, Illuminati devil people. You know, the world is going to take us serious. We do that and don't even know how extreme
How can you?
we're steeped in our ignorance. And so, let's be realistic. Be objective, just be mathematical. How much patience would you have dealing with such people, and that ain't your responsibility?
None.
And if they give only give up their birthright, you won't feel guilty about setting up shop in their community since they give up their birthright. You bring them something positive they don't want to hear because it doesn't fit their beliefs. You bring them something to get high, they'll jump on that. You bring them something to destroy their own community, they'll jump on that and then get mad at everybody else because the community's destroyed. Like somebody else did it. Like we don't have responsibility to take a broom and go outside and sweep our curb. And that is not a good idea to do graffiti on your own building because you're not intelligent. No man, this is the hood. Yeah. Then they treat you like hood, then we mad. I mean, it's an oxymoron. It puts civilized people in a really tentative position. It really does. But we're so busy feeling sorry for ourselves that we've lost the capacity to recognize our own ignorance or to acknowledge it. Live it and live it deeply, suffer the consequences, then accuse the civilized world of racism, which is the human species, which again makes us incompetent. And then if somebody tries to explain to us, that's the human species. No, it ain't. That's the attitude because the white man don't like us. Free white people, law dictionary. Let's go, right to the dictionary, right? All right, Daniel.
Free white persons referred to in Nationalization Act as amended by July.
Now remember the Naturalization Act that we talked? All right, go ahead.
As amended by Act July 14th, 1870, has meaning naturally given to it when it's first used in 1 Stat 103C, meaning all persons belonging to the European
So
race.
that's when they first start calling themselves white people, you see? See what the Naturalization Act is? And our people be talking like that's ancient, don't they? Don't they? Continue.
Meaning all persons belonging to the European races when commonly counted as white, and their descendants, including such descendants in other countries to which they have immigrated. It includes all European Jews more or less intermixed with people of Celtic, Scandinavian, Teutonic, Iberian, Latin, Greek, and Slavic descent.
Now stop right there. They even telling you that in order to even be listed as free white people, they had to be mixed, mustn't they? Now continue, and because you got to recognize what they're telling you. Go ahead, continue, sis.
It includes the mixed Latin, Celtic.
What includes the mixed Latin? Free white persons. It's a legal status. So where it says it, because it's a law dictionary, it's condensed.
Right.
This is so that it gets very clear to everybody what they're talking about. Free white person, continue.
It includes the mixed Latin, Celtic, Iberian, and Moorish inhabitants of Spain.
Inhabitants.
Inhabitants of Spain and Portugal, and the
Now
mix.
now let's stop. I just showed you your Moor. Moors are white people and think it's a complexion, don't they? Law Dictionary telling you Moors are white people. See the problem that you got? They've traded places with our people, and they think they're the black people and the Europeans are the black man. Do you see the problem? And it's elementary. Continue, sis. She's deep in thought. She just absorbed something. Go ahead, sis.
The mixed Greek, Latin, Phoenician, and North African inhabitants of Sicily and mixed Slave and Tartar inhabitants of South Russia.
They're naming who the white people really are, aren't they? They're telling you right there in the law book.
It does not mean Caucasian race.
Repeat that again.
It does not mean Caucasian race.
Read it again.
It does not mean Caucasian race,
Continue.
Aryan race, or Indo-European races, nor the mixed Indo-European, Dravidian, or Semitic and Mongolian people who inhabit Persia. A Syrian of Asiatic birth and descendant will not be entitled to become a naturalized citizen of the United States as being a free white person.
So you can see it's a legal status, isn't it? And our people think it's a complexion. Is it very clear? Don't tell you they don't mean Caucasian? And what do our people and the scholars keep on saying? That's him, don't they? So they keep giving him the status that belongs to them, don't they? It's called giving up your birthright. And ignorance of the law is not an excuse because you're supposed to know yourself. Especially when they keep talking about they know Jesus, they know when the rapture's coming, they know Armageddon, they know when sell your bike. Because God's going to kick the devil's ass on Thursday. Because the Bible says so.
Quickening.
So sell your bike and all this stuff. But I wanted to show you, now this is stuff that's right in front of you. Some stuff we bring, but showing you that you don't always have, you can go in people's houses in their own library and show them this stuff and they never even read it. And they'll be sitting there telling me, I'm Christian. Do you understand what I'm saying? I'm Baptist. And we're all going, yeah, all right. Point that I'm making is a little bit of foundation information answers a lot of questions asked, and it answers questions not yet asked. But what it does, it dismisses the BS of colored marching, praying, keep hope alive, 32-degree Mason leader guys pretending that they're trying to help our people when they're really overseers. Who do people defend? They defend them.
Right.
You come try to rescue them, that's that more stuff. That's your bloodline.
Yeah.
You see the problem that we got? And so we got to do things like this continuously to start liberating the youth because most of the other generations are what they call expendable. They're pretty much lost. And this is why I said the truth must come from the mouth of babes, because they pretty much have taken the position that they're going to have to kill off these people. And they don't know that that's in the plan. They think it's just an attitude. They really intend to exterminate these people. Because this is becoming a serious problem on the planet. And when you can't civilize the people and they become a burden to society, after a while you can't keep building institutions
It's
and
the
jails.
same thing
You got to start getting rid of bodies.
When the deers get out of hand, they have hunting season.
There you go.
They let the
And then
nature
they're
of things
symbolizing
take
it in the
place.
movie The Hunger
They let the
Games.
nature of things take place. If not, they tell you can't kill wolves so that the wolves can eat the deer and bring the population back.
There you go.
Find one way or another to keep balance in this universe.
There you go. But the
Their
point,
attempt of it.
but overall, you know, and ask some other questions too, Brother Nathaniel. But basically, and this is not something that we, you know, ourselves don't already know, because we're doing this for the interview, for the sake of other people will see it. But most of the stuff y'all already know. However, you also know that most people, in the name of intelligence, ain't even close to this information. And yet it is so basic to civilization that it's almost laughable. And again, this is redundant, so you can kind of imagine the difficulty other people have trying to reason with us. And we don't know that they're having that difficulty, we just think they have an attitude with us. Because they don't know how to come at us, because they don't know how we're going to react. Because one day we one thing, another day the day we black, next day we soul brothers, the next day we niggas. The next day we light-skinned, orange-skinned black people, and my light-skinned black girlfriend, and they don't know what to call you because you might be sensitive one day and not the other. They talk to your brother and he claims to be something else. And then none of you know your history. But you got an attitude against the world because you're getting all screwed. You're screwed because you're out of order, but you don't recognize you're out of order. You think the world's out of order. That's where we're coming from. Part of it is sincere, but part of it is also insincere. Now, Grancy Cujo came down from Canada. Moish signed up on in Canada. So he came down to York House today. And his family is Carib, from Trinidad, Tobago area, stuff like that. And so he brought the history of the Arawak, Tainos, etc., Caribs, the different, what they would call West Indian tribes. And he came with documents, history, pictures, telling these people that we're all Moors. That's what went on today, you know. And it's almost like our people are so asleep, it's almost like they disrespect the people that's near them, that's been telling them. And they just need some outsiders that are really outside insiders to tell them, because it's just like we're that dead, that how they call it masonry, must be the lion's claw to pull us out the grave. And it would have been very, very beneficial. That would have answered a lot of questions. Particularly, and they showed all the ancient statues, ancient artifacts, all got feathers on, all types and forms. Even names and places of the islands. And our people keep on trying to be black. And they getting ready to be made permanently black and don't know it.
Yes, they are.
So first they're gonna kill all the jobs, close factories. Then when the people get desperate and get on the street, set COINTELPRO operatives amongst them, find excuses to kill them on the street, put them right in dump trucks. They don't think it's gonna get that bad. It absolutely is. And this is why, like people who know what's really up, that you don't get in crowds, because you already know they're being set up. Yeah, because people won't get desperate when they can't eat.
What do you mean don't be in crowds?
Huh?
What do you mean when you say don't be in crowds?
Marching.
When you know, because we're trained to be emotional, and we know we love our people,
Right.
and we want all this BS to stop that's injuring our people, that out of ignorance they keep calling racism. We know it's not. We know that it's unum sanctum operations of colonial Europeans occupying Morocco. They don't know that the United States is a corporation. They think the United States is a country. We know the country is Morocco, occupied by the United States Corporation Company, European operatives.
Right.
So therefore, almost anything that they say in the public is, in law, incompetent and incorrect. So they're already on a path of being injured by taking that confusion out in the street, marching and praying and protesting. In law, that's a state of insurrection. Because they're not nationals. They have no protection. They're property by their own mouth. You know, it's what you know that we're not looking at this that way. It's not how, you know, people are looking at it. They're looking at, we're being mistreated. We have a right to protest. Not in that dead status, they don't. It is no different than you being a farmer and the bull runs around in the pen. He starts trying to break the fence up and trying to get you because he's mad at you because you ain't getting him no bacon and stuff. He want to kick everything and all that stuff. And after a while, you start thinking about time to put him down.
Right.
And they will put him down.
Right.
If you can remember this rule on planet Earth, and this is universal. Honor your mothers and your fathers, that your days may be longer upon the earth land which the Lord thy God Allah has given thee. There's a caveat to that. Honor not your mothers and fathers, and you are subject to all kinds of mistreatments by the humans on the planet, for you are outside of the heritability of the human family. You now, by choice, are expendable. Such persons are called Negro, Black, and Colored. Those are brands to identify them from other civilized people and Africans. And they think it's an identity. Point being made. And this is why, like, even when you know, you still have to be consistently purged. Because we, just by being in this environment of misinformation, we still keep falling back into these little ruts of misconceptions. And this is back to, you fix the fundamental concepts and you get them locked in, our people can take any contract and break it down. They can go to any court and defend themselves. They can go, they know to do quo warrantos and not be sitting around arguing racism with the magistrate. They know he's an administrator and not a judge. You know, just fundamental things that our people need to know, that they don't know, and every time they're incompetent and they get mistreated, then they mad when they really are incompetent.
Can you explain the difference between administrators and judges?
All right, now,
Officers.
all right, very simple. Best way I can do it. Basic education, right? Type in the Act of 1871, and let's do a little bit of discussion. Now, you know that one of the movies that Brad Pitt did, you know, he's a very good actor. It's called Inglourious Basterds. It's about military trade-off of weaponry and stuff like that. If you get a chance, look at that movie. Because he ends the movie and he tells you one of the best kept Masonic secrets. And he says, you know, because God's trying to cheat him and all this, and the movie ends like he says, and he does a little bit of cussing. And he says, United States is a corporation and not a country. Pay me, MF. That's how the movie ends up. And he's telling real history, and most people go right over their head because they think the United States is a country. Now, administrator, now open up, see that tag, 1871? Open that up.
Oh yeah?
Yes, open that up. Now, again, we're showing information that's available to anybody, and also showing that everybody knows this. We're the ones that's out to lunch, right? Now, you asked me, administrator versus judge, right? Now, just listen a little bit, and then we'll talk.
Citizens of the Internet and all participating members, we are anonymous. Since the Act of 1871, which established the District of Columbia, we have been living under the United States Corporation, which is owned by certain international bankers and aristocracy of Europe and Britain. In 1871, the Congress changed the name of the original Constitution by changing one word. Some people do not understand that one word or two words makes a difference in any legal document. It makes a critical difference. Congress has known and does know of this. 1871, February 21st. Congress passes an act to provide a government for the District of Columbia, also known as the Act of 1871, with no constitutional authority to do so. Congress creates a separate form of government for the District of Columbia, a 10-mile square parcel of land. The act passed when the country was weakened and financially depleted in the aftermath of the Civil War, and was a strategic move by foreign interests, international bankers, who were intent upon gaining a stranglehold on the coffers and neck of America. Congress cut a deal with the international bankers, specifically the Rothschilds of London, to incur a debt to said bankers. Because the bankers were not about to lend money to what they thought to a floundering nation without serious stipulations. So they devised a way to get their foot in the door of the United States. The Act of 1871 formed a corporation called the United States. This corporation, owned by foreign interests, moved in and shoved the original Constitution into a dustbin.
Now, stop right there. Before we go any further, if you don't know that, you don't understand politics. And you know, now remember, I didn't pull out nothing. Send you to what? Social media.
Right.
The whole world knows this, and we're asleep. Now, the pretenders to be judges on Article 3, Section 1 and 2, when they secretly converted the Republic into a private corporate human trafficking corporation that Brad Pitt talked about, to incorporate slavery bureaucratically. They no longer are lawful judges. They're private administrators of the trust. The World Trust that was created under the Spanish Inquisition. Therefore, you would know the difference. Being a national, someone who don't know this information wouldn't know the difference and would, out of ignorance, assign him that position by saying judge. They just assigned him. Now, it answers the question, doesn't it? Because I give you the foundation, and then you can figure the rest out. But other than that, I'll be talking a half an hour trying to explain it to you.
Right.
But I also took you to there to show you that while we're busy doing other things, the rest of the world is awake. And we're the food. And we be thinking that we wake and thinking that we going about making a living and stuff. We're busy. We're too busy for this, and it's all about us.
Okay, thank you.
Do you see the problem? And most of our people, if we're having this conversation, don't know how deep this really goes. And it involves every last one of them, every man, every woman, every child. And they think it's some kind of club or some kind of cult, because Rihanna did like this. The Illuminati. We use the activation of the pineal gland. But these people are, you know what? Our people are telling you weird.
Even with them dropping hints, it's like you would think that you would pick up on the fact that your favorite R&B artist or your favorite rapper
that they
is letting
really
you know
awake.
something.
They're really
Instead,
awake and trying to talk.
create the conspiracy and start the whole Illuminati, or they must be
Yeah.
talking about this, or everything is secret. It's not that big of a secret when they're
And
showing
we're
you
the
symbols.
secret.
They're showing you the symbols. They're telling you not so much to your face, but directly to your earlobes that this is the truth, and they're still not listening.
Now, let's take a little further, fellas. Type in Pope Francis' powerful letter to President Obama. And just read it. Now again, aren't we talking, we're talking social media, right? Right? Available to the world, right?
Yes, yes.
Now remember when we looked at this book, right? Indians, so-called Indians. And then we went to Rahm Emanuel, right? Obama, right? Now let's go to the Pope, who's the head of this stuff. Go ahead, open that up. Pope's powerful letter to Obama, July the 4th. Now let's qualify this. Notice how this letter opens up, and remember this is the Pope of all Christendom and the owner of all corporations on the planet Earth under unum sanctum operations. Would you see them 3 stars and bars on 18th Street? As the Vatican, District of London, Washington, D.C., the Trinity operations of unum sanctum on the planet. Here's the God of Earth addressing the president of his corporation, which is known as the United States Corporation Company, that dummies think is a country. But this is a real correspondence. I want you to read this, and I want you to recognize the people who he's addressed, who got this information, who ain't communicating with you, that everybody already knows this. So now read that with that consciousness. Go ahead.
Issued to all members of the domestic police forces, U.S. Marshal Service, the Pope, the Provost Marshal, members of the American Bar Association, and the American Armed Services. These organic American states of the Union known as the United States of America major, exercising plenary civil power upon the land, hereby appoint General Carter F. Ham to lead and command the Grand Army of the Republic / Guard, and the successors under the guidance of the Joint Chiefs of Staff and with their full support. Should it become necessary to suppress commercial mercenary forces operating under the guise of being federal government agencies, including but not limited to the Department of Homeland Security, the Federal Emergency Management Administration, the Internal Revenue Service, the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, etc. General Ham shall assume immediate command and control of all armed forces and services owned to the United States of America, major, stationed in North America, and shall join them under his command as the Grand Army of the Republic. All forces of air, land, and sea are to be employed. Any cost of loss suffered as result of deployment of the Grand Army of the Republic shall be charged as stipulated prior. All efforts shall be made by the Grand Army of the Republic to spare life and property while undertaking any action whatsoever with the United States of the Union without exception. The Guards uniquely enabled by these orders to operate on the land of the 50 organic states of the purpose of securing the lives and property of American state, states and American state citizens. The Guard is not a foreign army and is composed primarily of American state citizens. It is required to take field position. The local commanders shall make every effort to communicate the basis of their authority and the reasons for their presence on American state soil to ensure a prompt cessation of hostilities and widespread understanding of the usurpations and acts of fraud which have led to any conflict. All parties must be brought to understand the nature of the federal government, the limitations of its authority and their own obligation to act in favor of the organic states of the Union. The Grand Army of the Republic shall continue to operate under the General Order 100 known as the Lieber Code, extend from Penn to the last Republican President, Abraham Lincoln. No orders, executive or otherwise, issued by Barack H. Obama pretending authority on the land of the American states while operating as President of the United States Corporation, nor as the President of the United States of America minor, are owed any performance by the Joint Chiefs of Staff. General Ham.
As you can see, he just set the president down. Now see how much our people don't know about real politics, real world politics? He's letting you know that he's their boss. And half our people don't know that. They arguing about Trump and everything, don't even understand politics. You see how incompetent our people are? And make sure that when you all take the time, read this again yourself, because it'll open up, it'll answer questions that you didn't even ask. Less more answer questions that you may ask or may have thought to ask. You'll recognize that you ain't even been asking the right questions.
All plainly stated grants of contractual authority evident in the Constitution of the United States of America remain in place, subject to good faith performance of the accompanying obligations and treaties.
So he's including the treaties, ain't he? And our people don't even know nothing about them. You see the problem? Even though Obama brought them up, most of the stuff will go over our people's head. They don't even know it applies to them. You see the difficulty? So you can still understand why our people don't understand nationality. They don't even know the damn history. And so when you try to reason with them with their estate, they looking at you like you're attacking their opinion. So in law, in law of estate, these people are declared incompetent and not descendable. So some of the abuses economically we're getting is by our own hand. Because we're incompetent and refuse to correct it, even though someone has come to rescue us. So what position does this put the rest of the world in? While we're feeling sorry for ourselves and arrogant in our ignorance when somebody trying to school us about birthright. Continue to read. And I want you to pay attention to how this letter closes out. Go ahead.
Mr. Obama is the president of a governmental service corporation under contract to provide stipulated services to the organic states and is on their payroll. He otherwise acts as a foreign dignitary representing the United States of America minor.
So he's making the difference between major and minor, isn't he? So if you don't know the difference between the organic land and the corporate, then there's nothing else that you can tell a person when they got the mentality of a boy and girl. How you gonna tell them about a state when they boys and girls, although they're adults? And then when people treat them like that, they want to get pissed when they're boys and girls.
Right.
Since we're here, can you demonstrate the difference between Republic and Democrat?
The Republic is the legitimate United States that was established by Moors and Europeans to stop the hundreds of years wars between Muslims and Christians. The United States Republic is that order of government of which we were a part. It was overthrown with the coup of 1861, the murder of Lincoln. He's telling you he was the last lawful president. He's telling you the history. And in 1871, they set up a private corporation called the United States Corporation Company and have been impostoring and pretending it's been the government. And it isn't. That is the U.S. democracy order of demons. The U.S. democracy, and that's what you've been suffering under.
Democracy.
And then what do you keep, when I say you, these people go, we want our democracy. And the world knows they don't know, not only they don't know what the hell they're talking about, they cast their own selves in hell. And then they want to march and pray. You think the civilized world won't sit around and feel sorry for people that insist on being that extremely ignorant? Even when they in the child in first, second grade. I pledge allegiance to the flag, United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, and they turn around, the parent tell them it's a democracy, and then send them to war and get them slaughtered. And then we'll talk about, they didn't give us no black badges for the black troops. We need to start another black organization to prove that we somebody. And don't even recognize our ignorance. We don't even know this United States is a corporation. When you hear U.S. democracy, it's the coup of 1861, solidified of 1871. That's why I sent you to the computer. Meaning that I ain't got to go to my stuff. I can send you. But our people ain't interested in this kind of stuff that affects their everyday life. They'd rather march and pray and talk about Black Lives Matter when it don't damn matter. They're expendable. I'm saying to you, they're insurrection.
And the Republicans and Democrats is just another.
It's a game played for ignorant people.
Because you're already dead.
And remember, this is the other problem that we have. The extreme level of ignorance that exists amongst our people causes other people to have a contemptuous position dealing with us because it gets beyond the level of trying to reason, so you don't owe them anything after that. And then when they start becoming abusive and forceful, then whatever means it takes to put them down, like a rabid dog. And that's the position, and you know it's immoral, it's unethical, because these people have been miseducated for many generations. However, from an offhand position, if you're looking at it from the outside, it's hard for people not to get disgusted with us. And then when they don't, peace, cuz, when they don't like black people, then we want to get mad. I mean, a lot of the stuff we bring on ourselves. But we don't know. Now this is the deal, Theno. By our people not knowing their history and don't know that law and history goes. It's one thing to know. Now a lot of them do, the leaders know, but they're paid off. You know what I mean? It's a different category. But when you have a bunch of people who've been miseducated, admit they've been miseducated, but don't recognize they've been miseducated, which is an oxymoron. And then they try to compete with the civilized world with that miseducation that they admit that they have, and won't take the time to try to address the problem, then that's called negligence. After that, people don't feel sorry for you no more. It's sort of like this. I'm swimming in the Delaware Schuylkill, right? I'm out there and pretending y'all riding past me. Hey, Todd, you got out there? And I'm out there stroking and stuff right now. And I can't swim and stuff. And he said, well, man, hurry, stop the car, man. Throw the life raft out to him. Y'all throw rope, throw the life raft out to me. And I go, is that plaid? I ain't in the plaid. And this is sort of like people make little signals and throw things at us, like Hillary speaking from the Ben Franklin room, Minister Plenipotentiary under the Treaty of Peace and Friendship. Obama tells the history. Rahm Emanuel, the Jew, tells your history and your state and everything. No Pro-tunk, issue from the Philadelphia Chambers, 75,
Oh, yeah.
1202,
Resolution.
Moorish Science Temple, 102 years, and these people still want to be black. The rest of the world ain't exactly continuing to feel sorry for us. Because it ain't that the effort ain't been made to liberate these people, but it seems like they don't want it. So then the world don't owe them anything. The results is not good, and it's going to be worse than they ever imagined. Because when the economy goes down, because it's going down, and they ain't gonna be doing no Rodney King stuff. They ain't doing all this stuff. They gonna just simply pop them or choke them out, throw them in the car. Ain't nobody going to jail either. Now, on the surface, that's hard, crude. But once you know the real history, you can understand the politics behind it that nobody talks about. We're not totally innocent in this. We assume that we are. But every living being has an obligation by law to honor their mothers and fathers, because the common law is based in that. And ignorance of it, although we'll make excuses, there is none. It's not acceptable. But anyway, read this out, Nathaniel, and watch the Pope tell you what all this fraud is based in that everybody talking about. Read it all out. All right? Now, he's telling you the history. He's making a distinction now when you know history and law, you know that when he says United States major, he's talking about the legitimate republic. When he's talking the United States minor, he's talking about the misrepresented imposters since 1871 that have been impostoring as government who institutionalized slavery, not some Indians, the African Americans. Who are they? The Moorish Americans. He's telling you the history. That's the Pope himself. He's even telling you about the coup. He's even told you that Abraham Lincoln was the last lawful president. He just said the last president of the republic, because that's the lawful president. That's it. Meaning that there's no debate, and yet people are debating. So the president comes out and tells you, now the Pope's telling you. What more do these people need? Now keep in mind, he's addressed the police forces, the marshals, the bar association. He even extinguished their licenses. And they're just right there and there. He extinguished their license. They were imposters. And they know it. And see, so when people who really know history, who really study, like Drew Ali says, you can easily tell COINTELPRO operatives because you know scholars know this information. You know, the dumb public don't know, but you know scholars and people who got titles know this stuff. That's how they get the titles. Nobody sit up there be a surgeon, they don't know the anatomy of the body. People saying, well, maybe he didn't know. No, maybe you too damn lunch to recognize it. He's been running a barbershop for 8 years. Maybe he don't know how to cut hair. You're naive. I mean, we are naive and we keep defending BS simply because of our own ignorance. The world don't have time to keep playing with us. The life moves on. And after a while you start getting in the way, then you're expendable. And this is really the situation that our people are actually coming to, and they're so blind they don't see it coming. And when these terrible things start happening, it's going to confuse a lot of them, but if it starts, it ain't going to stop. Because they're going to solve this nigger problem once and for all, because it must be removed from the face of the earth. Now, of course, we know it, but if people who don't have this information don't know how deep this trouble is coming. Because stock market's gonna crash, and they ain't giving these people no nigger jobs no more. They're gonna get rid of them. And they can't build jails fast enough. They can't deport us because we're indigenous.
I had a
So
question.
they're gonna start killing us.
So, what is Wall Street stocks and bonds really about?
Say again.
The Wall Street stocks and bonds really about?
Now, congressional records. Congressional records, House Joint Resolution 192. U.S. bankruptcy, James Tropicana. Just say U.S. bankruptcy, James Tropicana. Now let's look at it. And notice how I'm only using the internet.
U.S. bankruptcy.
U.S. bankruptcy, James Tropicana. And then you're going to repeat the question, right? Now we know it's more than what's going to be exposed, but
Was it when he was in Ohio addressing it, or?
yeah, Ohio. He was a congressman in Ohio.
The bankruptcy of that one right there first.
Yeah.
1993.
Now, let's look here.
The speaker, we are here now, chapter 11.
Members of Congress are official trustees. So trustees, you're talking about an estate, right? As soon as you see trustee, you're talking estate and you're talking administrators, right? That's automatic, right? All right, so here we go. Residing over the greatest reorganization of any bankrupt entity. Bankrupt entity, and say country did it. Bankrupt entity in the world, what? The U.S. government. We are setting forth, hopefully, a blueprint for our future. There are some who say there's a coroner's report that will lead to our demise. It is an established fact that the United States federal government has been dissolved. How many people know that? Do you see I'm just showing you information that conscious people know, that unconscious people who are getting injured every day, they can't defend it. They don't even understand jurisdiction. They think we're lunch when we saying they don't have jurisdiction. Do you understand? But let's go down here. Look at this. Let's look at this. It is essential that we comprehend the distinction between real money and paper money substitute. One cannot get rich by accumulating money substitute. One can only get deeper in debt. We the people no longer have any money. Most Americans have never been paid any money for a very long time, perhaps not in their entire lives. Do you comprehend why you feel broke? Why do you understand why you're bankrupt along with the rest of the country? Federal Reserve notes are unsigned checks written on a closed account. How many people know that? They keep calling it money. Keep saying they get paid. Because they can't damn read. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? And if you tell them that, that's that Moorish stuff. This is facts. And the more you show people this, in other words, if we're having this conversation, most people, if we were just having this conversation, brothers that's in the spot were sitting here, they would think you'd be making this stuff up.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, man, them guys in there, man, I don't know what they've been smoking, man. They be talking a lot of shit, don't they? Yeah, dog. And you be trying to rescue them. And they don't know this stuff's gonna hit like shit on the fan. Major. But let's go a little further, ask your issue about stocks. Now look at this. Prior to 1913, what do you know about 1913?
Prophet established the more Holy Temple of Science.
Look how this correlates. Prior to 1913, most Americans owned clear allodial title to property. How many people know what allodial title is? They never even heard of it. They think deeds are ownership. They're sharecropping. They can't even damn read. See where our problem is, man? Mortgage means dead pledge. The contract's dead and you're the pledge. And if you tell our people that, they start, that's that Moorish stuff. See the problem that we got? They have no idea about that this whole thing is about a state law. Anyway, let's go on. Let's look at this. So prior to 1913, most Americans own clear allodial title to property, free and clear of any liens or mortgages. They don't even know the distinction between them, right? Until the Federal Reserve Act of 1913 hypothecated all property within the federal United States to the Board of Governors of the Federal Reserve, in which trustees, stockholders held legal title, U.S. citizens, tenant, franchisees, they listed on tenants on these deeds, right? Was registered as beneficiary of the trust via his or her birth certificate, 1933. Now see what the folks talking about? That's your stocks and bonds on the stock market. Their marriage certificates, their birth certificates, and original manufacturer's titles of origin. You tell them this stuff and they think you're trying to attack their religion, or you don't know Jesusness. See the problem that we got? Now, do you understand how the rest of the world kind of looks at us? Because they can't even have this conversation with us. But they know this stuff when they go in these so-called black communities that are civilly dead, that's asking for help and don't even know how to receive it. Because if somebody comes to try to help them, they will reject them. Because it don't match their beliefs, which is miseducation. Therefore, it is your duty and responsibility, being exposed to this information, to do the best you can to produce literature in order to change these people. As they become to the point of being destroyed and extinguished, understand if we have not done our job, the responsibility is on our shoulders. Nevertheless, the civilized world has no more responsibility to wake these people up who've been addressed for almost 102 years by Noble Drawley, Marcus Garvey, and those thereafter, with enough information in spite of the fact that they burned books, to expose both the COINTELPRO operatives amongst themselves, and we're talking document, because as you can see, without bias, I took you to documentation. I didn't try to convince you of anything. And I took you to documentation that's available to the world, not just us. I didn't need to pull out a book. We didn't sit around and have no arguing conversation. I took you directly to documented facts to the highest levels of government on this planet, including the Pope himself. What more do you want? Do you understand what I'm saying to you? But yet you know, and I know honestly, that many of our people will sit up and argue with us. But understand at the same time, and I think this is a redundant statement, you can understand once you get on the other side of looking at this thing and you can remove your emotions, you can understand why, and it's still kind of hard on us because we care and we love, you know, I mean, we're tired of this BS that our people getting injured. But you have to understand the difficulty that civilized people have trying to deal with us when we don't know basics. And yet we're grown. And we take up space and we make babies. And we're extremely out of order and don't know it. Even though it was caused by slavery, the result is destructive. And it's starting to destroy society. And they're planning on exterminating such persons. They really are. Meanwhile, by us not knowing, we don't see the danger. You know, and then we get in this idea about our spirituality, our hotepness. And it's not exactly like that. Really, it isn't. So the best that you can know, the best that you can put in your head this knowledge and come to some conclusions on how to start liberating your family to get them awake. It will be difficult, however, if it's not done, understand population will be reduced. Fair, not necessarily. Ethical, not necessarily. Politically expedient, absolutely. Mercilessly, absolutely. Will they feel bad for us? No. Why? Because we've been told over and over again about the bloodline, and we, not someone else, have rejected it. Therefore, in law, such persons are not descendable and can't own property. And when you become a burden to the slave master and he has no place to place you, he's going to exterminate. That's what they're going to do. You don't believe it? Look up Executive Order 11490 called King Alfred Plan. Rex 84. Again, our job is to do the best we can to wake our people up without bias, without injuring them, without putting an extra burden on them. But it is their responsibility, like all other living things, to honor their mothers and fathers. We can't make them do that. Their choice is theirs. And with that, I think it answers a lot of questions. Something has to give. We gotta fix this nigger problem, which is at the base of this whole problem. The Pope tells you the whole foundation is based on the last 150 years with this fraud with us. And so this is why you see even some of the Europeans saying they can't fix it, the Moors gotta fix this. But our people are outside the loop so far that they don't recognize it's their responsibility. They're looking for somebody to start a program. They themselves are the program. You know, so how they say, when the student is finally ready, the master will appear. His name is self. If he holds his breath to wait for the master, surely he will be dead. And that's about it. Any other questions?
When you say Manchurian, you mean the Chinese?
It's
or Asians?
exactly true. That's why you got the BRICS nations, etc. That's what's going on with the economy. That's why these stores are closing. And after a while, if the trucks stop running, and then people can't go to the corner store, reality check is going to hit real quick. And guess what's going to happen when they hit the street and start stealing? They're not going to be breathing very long. And they're not going to be doing no, they're not going to be gathering people up, taking them to no arrest. They're going to lay bodies on the street and just have cleanup crews. I'm telling you what's going to happen because it's political anarchy. This is why the Pope's saying with this fraud, he's telling you, if you read that letter, he's telling you it's a civil war going on low key. And he's talking about suppressing commercial mercenaries on the land of the organics. He's telling you what's happening. The distinction is now being made between the organic, geographical United States, distinguished from the corporate entity and persons. And he's telling you the Army, Navy, and Air Force are going to be employed. He's telling you Civil War. If you can't read, you don't see it. If you can read, he's telling you. And what's he talking about? Is he talking about democracy? Is he talking about the Grand Army of the Republic?
The Republic.
Now, does that need interpretation?
No.
However, and I'll say this again. Admittedly, you present this information to most of our people and they'll start debating about what their beliefs are, which immediately would indicate that they're incompetent. In a state of emergency, such persons will be immediately put in FEMA camps and gassed. They're not even going to feed them. They have no idea how close we're coming to that stage because we're doing what we do every day. We can't imagine that this thing can stop at any minute and you can have roadblocks at all major highways and they start confiscating people. And guess what happened in the concentration camp? You have no nationality. You think they're going to start doing some researchers and start having little interviews and video conversations? No, they're not. They're going to do the same thing they did to some other people that was taking up space claiming to be somebody they're not. They sent them to barbecue parties. They heard about nationality, didn't they? After they killed a few million, didn't they? Do you need to convince them about what nationality is after that? Even though they made one up, you ain't got to convince them about nationality, do you? And guess what? All the technology that was learned from that extermination is what is applied. It's documented in military, Executive Order 11490. What do they tell you? It was all the research was done in the Second World War. And it's going to apply to people called minorities.
The Minority Report.
And you already know it's a legal status. And then of course, at another time, we'd do another interview, and I'll just bring the document, King Alfred, Rex 84, executive, and then we'll all discuss the document. We don't have to discuss what our opinions is, just go to the document.
Thanks.
And even in Executive Order 11490, they tell you that these people are indigenous to the land. They're bound to the continent by heritage, and they will not be allowed asylum in other countries. That's a military document. Who are they talking about? These people here that's called Negro, Black, and colored minorities. And what have Drew Ali been telling these people for the last 102 years? Declare your nationality. Declare your nationality. If you don't do anything else, declare your nationality. And they think it's a joke. Well, the rest of the world is tired of waiting, and things are collapsing. And when it gets to that, people are expendable. In other words, when it gets to what you call state emergency, the rules of courtesy and recognizing your rights, that gets out the window. You look like you're getting ready to break the window. They don't start about, stop, thief. No, you'll be on the ground. And you won't have one slug, you may have 2, 3, 4, 5. They might empty a clip on you. And if somebody gets there, you can't do that, they're gonna drop them too. And then, y'all can't, and they're gonna drop them too. And after a while, they're gonna shut up and go back wherever they're going. Those who get out of the scene, if they make it out of the scene, then they'll have a dump truck and just simply remove what they call collateral damages and clean the streets and hose it down.
We was watching the movement on internet, and they was talking about how they bombed the people.
At 5:27 p.m., without warning move, a bomb containing powerful military explosives was dropped. Expecting Move to flee, police stakeout teams took up positions in the alley behind the house.
Then nobody really talked about it anymore.
And they were listed as black people. Because not outside of human, it's outside of human family. Now, as an example, again, and this is redundant. Inappropriate persona, which you all know, but just for information's sake. To a degree that, we're a little warm for the day because we've been quite busy, so you have excuses. We look a little sleepy and a little warm because we've been doing what we do. Because I know sisters, I can see that.
Appreciate you coming.
Now, inappropriate persona, which is what we're looking up for right now. Now, is a legal term, which you already know, right? And then appropriate persona means in one's own proper person. Now, in layman's terms, I know you've heard this term. In layman's terms, this would be called, in law, just basic layman's term, being yourself. In law, it's called inappropriate persona, right? So can one be oneself if one does not know oneself?
No.
So if I can take you to the dictionary, show you more, and then you continue to call yourself black, in law, you're expendable. Because you've been told.
Right.
Because it's a dead status. There's no constitutional protections there. No treaty protections. Do you understand? No, you're legal discard by choice. Now, inappropriate persona is a legal term, which means in one's own proper person. It is a rule in pleading that pleas to the jurisdiction of the court must be pled in appropriate persona. Because if pleaded by an attorney, they admit the jurisdiction as attorney is an officer of the court. And he is presumed to plead after having obtained leave which admits the jurisdiction. See where the legal status comes in when you're not in your proper person? They already have jurisdiction. The Constitution say when you don't hire an attorney because you give them your birthright. Now you understand that. But then if you know yourself, you wouldn't need them. Because what? A civilized man or woman, a free man or woman can present themselves. A slave can only be represented by another man whose name he's usually bearing his property. There you go to Smith, Jones, and Johnson. There you go. Once you understand these things in law, a lot of things that our people are offended about, they won't be offended at others for. They will recognize that they have responsibilities that they've overlooked or didn't know that they need to take responsibility. And the conditions will change when we change them. You know, but of course, not having some of this information, some of our people don't know that they're wrong because they're dealing with emotions. But the damage that is done has been by their leadership who know these things and ain't been telling them. And have been getting them 501c3 kickback agreements from the corporate state, acting like it comes from Jesus and God and Allah for teaching the word. That's what the masses think. They think that tithing is from Jesus. They don't know tithe means 10% Roman tax, Pope Sylvester II. That's what it means. Because they can't read and they don't deal with facts, they only deal with beliefs. You know, and it's kind of hard because people think that you're attacking them when you're only liberating them. Meaning that, and this is one of the difficult things, just like Harriet Tubman used to say, when she said, one of the most difficult things to do in life is to free a slave that don't know they're slaves. Back to what Nodrali said, mental slavery. Rahm Emanuel, the Jew, said it. And you can take it to any law dictionary, any unabridged dictionary, show them their bloodline in grade school level. And what do? Turn around and claim to be black. What's the world supposed to do? Particularly when things start going down the tube. So when things go down the tube on an international scale, what is the usual rule on civilization itself on the planet? What is the first ultimate sovereign power exercised by all nations on planet Earth when the economy goes down the tube? It's called universally nationalization. And what occurs with anyone who's outside of that venue?
Expendables.
There you go. Is there any other questions?
That's it for the day.
All right, so we're gonna do this again.
Yes.
I think we got a good shot at it.
Yes.
Thank you for your assistance.
Yes, no problem.
You know, and thank you all for your hospitality.
Thank you for knowledge.
Glad to be here at the studio. Yes. House of Tunes.
Said I'm still sinning. Born sinner, but a born winner. I'm a born sinner, but a born winner. I got melanin in me, and I got these melodies with me from all this melanin in me. Said I got melanin in me, but I swear this melanin in me feel like a felony in me. I'm a born sinner, but a born winner. How did that add up? Hold up, let me tell you how. Born sinner, but a born winner. How did that add up? Hold up, let me tell you how. Cause I got melanin in me, yeah, and I got these melodies with me. Cause I got melanin in me, yeah. Since I got melanin in me, my heart probably a diamond. My rib cage is golden, my inside's designer. Your insights a gotcha, I live like a movie. My heart probably a ruby and my blood is the polish. The mud life, my whole life, I leave me a pilot. I should be a pilot, I'm G5 the flyest.